I'm going to show you how to put captions onto photographs using GNU Image Manipulation Program. That's GIMP for short. On the website there is a small piece that I've popped down in the corner here, and that is a brief description of what this program is about. It's really for photo editing and doing bits. You can do all kinds of bits and pieces with it with images. It's very useful. The name speaks for itself, sort of, but here's a brief description.
GIMP is an acronym for GNU Image Manipulation Program. It is a freely distributed program for such tasks as photo retouching, image composition and image authoring.
So, let's get on with this. We have our controls and tools up here. We've got file menus, quite a few different types of tools in those. This is our left panel, this is our right panel. We'll be concentrating mainly on this for the moment. Now we need to get our photograph in here, don't we? That we're going to put a caption on. So, I mean, you can go through here and open it, but then you've got to go and find it. I mean, it's here, but that's because I've been there before. So we're in here, we've got to find our pictures. Pictures is up here, then we've got to find the thing. And this can be sort of a rough way to do it. There's a better way to do it, however, though. Say if you need to find, you're not sure what the name of the image is or where it is, you've got to go and look for it. And then once you've found it, you've then got to go and look for it again in here to open it using the method I've just shown you by going through open. And it's not the most productive way of doing things. The easiest way to do this is to go to your file explorer, and when you've found the photo you want, the best practice is to create a new folder to put all your new bits and pieces in. Also a copy of this photograph. Now I'll explain bits on this in a second. So let's just create it. So now simply press enter or click on OK, whichever one you prefer. I have a tendency just to press enter. Now we've got our new folder here. Now the one we want, so normally you'll be coming from a PNG. You've got a file with the extension XCF. This is primarily a file format that is only used for GIMP files. They're the project files when you're making something. There's lots of layers and bits and pieces inside of that. That's just the file it uses to save the project. Now when you're pulling this in, you're going to have to save it again. So I like to make a copy of what I'm going to be editing, pop that in there. So once we've got our file in here, we'll want to right click and go to open with, and then we choose our GNU Image Manipulation Program and we click left click on that, and that will open it. You may not see it straight away because it does tend to hide under other windows, depends how your system works. But here we go, here's an old photograph that was found behind the fireplace. I don't know who this is or what it's about, so I'm just going to put a little caption on the back of this. So I want to make the camera size larger, I think at the side, and I can put a lot of stuff down the side now. So we're going to have to adjust the width. So if we just do that, that should give us enough to write in, I would think. And when I'm happy with that, I'll hit resize. Now you notice here it's got all these checker marks all over it. This is because it's got a transparent background. You might not want that, so let's do that again. You hit Control Z and get out of there. We'll want to change some things, I think, here. Now we want to adjust the canvas size through Image and Canvas Size, but we want it to be a particular background colour. So your best bet here is to change your background colour and your foreground colour here beforehand. So we'll want the background to be white and we want the foreground to be black. The foreground being, say, your text colour. This will now automatically be selected, and then when we use the tools it can ask whether you want the foreground colour or the background colour. So if we go to Image now and we go down to Canvas Size, and we've got to adjust the canvas size to get it where we feel comfortable that we can add a caption. That should do as far as I'm concerned. You can play with it as much as you like and get the size right, but if you want a solid background colour, you've got to use these tools here. So we want to, I'm just going to apply it to all layers. Yours will probably be set up like mine, with this as none and this as transparency. You really want to select the background colour, and then when we click resize, we have a nice white panel for everything to go into. Now if you convert it to JPEG format, then it'll automatically probably turn into a white background anyway. I don't think you'll have much problem there. So the next step, we'll want to save this. Now we're happy with it, we've got this far, we've got a white background, so let's save this off. And as you can see, it's been saved off as XCF. I'm going to call this, put caption on the end. So this one has a caption, so we know it's a different file. So next step, we need our text tool. We need to write in here what this is. So we've got up here, you see we've started this, we've selected our tool, and we've clicked where we want to start. And I think 64 is going to be a bit big, so if I start typing here, just any old thing, oh, it's not too bad, it's not too bad. So I can, yeah, do that. You can go into here and select your font. I'm going to go for medium. 64 seems fine on my screen setting, but it depends on the size of your photograph personally, I think. Let's save this. Let's put something in here. So as you can see, that's kind of going off the edge of the screen. What I would like, if I use this tool here and I hold control down and I use the mouse wheel, it will scroll me in, and I can use these to move myself around a bit. As you can see, it has a tendency to go off the edge of the screen. Now I'm going to use this move tool up here, and you just hold down the mouse button and you drag it to where you want it. Now the other thing with this, so we can put a fixed size on the box, which means that the text should automatically wrap. So let's draw a box where I would like the text to be. So let's put it there. Okay, and I should be able to start typing now. Yes, it seems to wrap automatically now. So I could add some more to that, I suppose. Let's zoom out and scroll away down here. Now we could enlarge this box that I've drawn here, so we can drag that all the way down to the bottom. You can put in quite a bit of description, so I won't do too much there. I could put in quite a bit more, which I'm not going to do because this is just an exercise. So when we've put something in here that we're happy with, we can then save that off. Remember, Control S, and that'll save it to its current project. And then we want to export this to something everybody else is able to see and that we can transmit across the internet quickly. If we're going to email it to somebody, we hold down Control and Shift together and we press E. And this will ask us to export it. Now we've got different file formats. I tend to like the PNG format, but let's say it doesn't necessarily need to be on a website or anything. We need a small compressed file format to send over the internet. I mean, PNG stands for Portable Network Graphic, but JPG or JPEG is essentially the same thing, JPG for short. Now pretty much every device out there will be able to see this and read it and display it easily. And it's nice and small and compressed. Once we've got that in there, we hit export, and it's gonna give us this panel. Now we get to choose what kind of quality, and we can use that from the original, but that's a PNG. Show image preview in window, and what can we exclude and what can we get rid of? Well, most of the time you can even put a comment in there on here as well. We've got advanced options, smoothing. These are for the codec that's encoding to. We'll leave everything as it is and see how big it is when it comes out the other side. If we export that nice and quickly, and that should have saved it. Now if I go back to here, I'll be able to have a look and see what the file size is. Now, original PNG is 1.5 megabytes in PNG format. I've added a caption. The project file size is 3.2 megabytes, but this is tiny, 610. It's not bad. It's just over half a megabyte. Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret here. I'm going to show you how you can crunch it down even more if you want to send it over the internet. Now, this is, if you're sending a lot of things, doing this will save a lot of bandwidth and make sure that whoever's receiving it will be able to get into it. There's a little website called tinypng.com. We go here and you can put your images in here, convert images automatically, or you can just click on it, which is what I normally do, and we find our picture and we put our pictures in here, haven't we? And this is the one we want, JPEG, and we want to crunch that down even smaller. It's getting there. So that's saved 72%. It's now pretty tiny. You can click on that, download it, and put it back where it was. And that will write over the original image. This is why I like a folder to put everything in. So in case you mess something up, you're not writing over the top of this, because it's exactly the same name. It would have written over the top of it. I don't want to do that. So just give it a name, compressed, so it's compressed it down even smaller. That's a nice, quick and easy website you can use to compress your photos before sending them, but be aware by doing this you can lose quality over time. Back into here, let's see how big it is. Yeah, it's tiny now. We'll be able to email that nice and easily.